This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Our requirements are a minimum of 60 college credits by the time you start our academy. And then we actually encourage people to have a diverse degree rather than something in a criminal justice career field.
We are in an emergency appeal for blood where we are less than a day and a half of, less than a day's supply of blood currently. So we are hosting a blood drive to make sure we have a stable and ready blood supply for our community hospitals.
I see how my kids learn, with the hands-on, tactile exhibits where they can really get in and use their hands and experience how to work with tools and how to work on a kid-sized car.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Thursday, June 15th. One more day until Friday. Gonna be a little hazy today.
It's gonna be a little on the hazy side today. Yeah, definitely. Something that we'll have to be monitoring this afternoon. But it looks like that haze should clear out though as we head into tonight and into tomorrow. But we're just gonna have to deal with it here today, unfortunately, because that's all thanks to our wind direction coming from the northerly side, and that's gonna drag in some of that smoke and haze from the north. And it's also dragging in some cloud cover there, as you can see as well. Those current temperatures are into the 50s, 55 in Winona, 58 in La Crosse, 52. Eau Claire, 51, Black River Falls, Prairie du Chien currently at 57, Viroqua at 55 degrees. So here's a check on your planner. We are going to be looking at mainly cloudy skies this morning and then turning mostly sunny throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 60s to start, followed by the 70s, and then it looks like we will be into those upper 70s, low 80s by later in the afternoon. Looking on the seasonal side, but again, very hazy though today despite the clouds clearing out. So here's a check on your allergy reports. The grass and pine symptom index level is still high. The weed is still low. Same forecast for tomorrow. The tree pollen is gone, but there is still pine, walnut, and mulberry pollen that remains in the air. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast. We'll talk more about the haze and what we can expect as we head into this weekend and next week in just a bit. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. It's day 3 of the trial for a man charged in connection to a 2021 triple homicide. News 8 Now's Dua Ishrar was at the courthouse where a key witness testified as she was at the Romskog Quarry on County Highway M where the shooting took place.
Do you know what you just did in front of me?
2 years ago, Bridget Schlicht went to drop off her birth certificate at her new job at Holiday Inn in Onalaska. 24-year-olds Peng Lor and Nemo Yang and 23-year-old Trevor Maloney were in the car with her. When she left Holiday Inn, Schlicht says she was held at gunpoint by 45-year-old Kamthanath Ratanasak and drove to the Romskog Quarry on County Highway M. There, she testified Ratanasak handed the gun to 35-year-old Naya Tao, who shot the 3 men. This morning, Schlicht told jurors she was afraid but went to the police.
And why do you think you would be charged?
Because I was there, and I was still alive.
During the cross-examination, Tao's defense argued Schlicht deleted evidence from her phone that tied her to Ratanasak.
I didn't want to believe that this was real. I didn't want to see anything on my phone that had to do with any of this.
The defense argued Schlicht had sex with Ratanasak and was scared of him, but she wasn't scared of Tao.
I don't think he would kill me. That's the truth, correct?
Correct.
Those are the words that you said on the recording, correct?
Schlicht admitted on the stand that she originally told police she wasn't at the quarry during the shooting because she wanted to limit her involvement in the crime.
Because 3 people lost their lives for no reason.
Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Ishrar, News 8 Now.
Tao faces a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment if he is convicted of first-degree intentional homicide. Ratanasak is expected to testify against Tao later this week. 3 people were arrested this week after a multi-agency drug investigation. Stanley Holte and Julia Lloyd were arrested in Coon Valley on police charges of possession with intent to deliver methamphetamine and fentanyl. According to police, 2 pounds of meth were found in Holte's car when he was arrested for an OWI. A passenger in the car, Damian Reinsvold, was also arrested for possession of drugs. Lloyd was arrested at her home where police found 3 more pounds of meth and $49,000 in cash. Police say Holte had been supplying drugs to people in La Crosse, Vernon, Crawford, and Monroe counties in Wisconsin, and Houston County In Minnesota, law enforcement found a total of more than 5 pounds of meth and more than 31 grams of fentanyl during their investigation. Both Lloyd and Holte are being held on a $500,000 cash bond in Vernon County. At least one person is dead following a small plane crash in Watertown, Wisconsin. Emergency crews responded to a plane crash that reportedly went down in the vicinity of Brant Quirk Park, which is near Watertown High School and about 4 miles from the city's airport. Officials said that the plane was leaving the Watertown airport when it went down. The crash caused some fires in the area, which first responders were able to put out quickly. The entire park has been closed off as officers complete a thorough investigation. The Wisconsin State Patrol is a handful of workforces dealing with an employee shortage. They held an open house hoping to potentially fill those vacancies. News 8's Jeremy Wall has the details.
As the spots remain open, State Patrol is doing what it can to fill them, including having an open house. Part of that is educating aspiring troopers what's required to patrol.
Our requirements are a minimum of 60 college credits by the time you start our academy. And then we actually encourage people to have a diverse degree rather than something in a criminal justice career field.
Next year, it hopes to fill a class of up to 50 people. The academy begins in January and runs for 6 months. But the state agency looks for more than just college credits and a degree.
So we like people who, like outdoors, people who like to work independently, and people who are very self-motivated.
It also takes a while before troopers are working independently.
Once they get out into the field, they have a 12-week field training officer program where they're riding with another officer, and then once they successfully complete that, they're on their own and they work alone by themselves.
And once they complete their 2-year probationary period, troopers are eligible for other positions within the agency.
Some of those positions include Honor Guard and working in its canine and motor units. The applications close on July 16th. We'll have more on news8000.com. It's never too early for education, and a new exhibit at the Children's Museum of La Crosse is about to inspire future mechanics. At the end of this week, kids can test their gearhead skills at the new Dahl Express Tire and Auto Center exhibit. Children can use pint-sized tools to fix a car on a lift. The exhibit has kids-safe wrenches, lug nuts, and oil-changing supplies. One of Dahl's leaders says he knows how important it is for kids to learn by doing.
I see how my kids learn, with the hands-on, tactile exhibits where they can really get in and use their hands and experience how to work with tools and how to work on a kid-sized car.
The exhibit opens to the public on Friday. The Franciscan Healthcare Auxiliary is celebrating its 70th anniversary. The La Crosse Country Club hosted a luncheon to honor the milestone. Throughout the years, Franciscan Healthcare Auxiliary has awarded more than 300 nursing scholarships to students at Viterbo and Western Technical University, as well as funding for capital projects and assisting patients with medical bills. La Crosse area hospitals are running low on blood supply. Versity Blood Center, which supplies hospitals like Gunderson Health System, is hosting blood drives today to stock up. Versity officials say donors are essential right now.
We are in an emergency appeal for blood where we are less than a day's supply of blood currently. So we are hosting a blood drive to make sure we have a stable and ready blood supply for our community hospitals.
Donors can go to Gunderson's Clinic in Onalaska from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Construction is complete on a roundabout in Onalaska. The city announced in a press release that the new roundabout at the intersection of East Avenue and Riders Club Road will be open to traffic beginning tomorrow, June 16th. According to the release, the roundabout has a new compact design that is semi-truck friendly. The city asked that all drivers be careful at this intersection for a couple of weeks so everyone can get used to new traffic patterns. In honor of World Elder Abuse Awareness Day today, the Aging and Disability Resource Center of La Crosse County is hosting an Elder Abuse Awareness Walk. The walk will take place at Riverside Park at 10 in the morning. If you are planning to participate in the event, organizers encourage you to wear purple to show your support against elder abuse. Registration isn't required but is encouraged. For more information, we'll have a link on news8000.com. Still ahead on your morning news, a group of music publishers is suing Twitter over copyright infringement. And interest rate increases are paused for now, but the Fed is warning that they may start up again soon. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Both Michael Porter Jr. and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of the Denver Nuggets took their turns at the register at the drive-thru of a Raising Cane's. They both worked a shift delivering meals to fans. Fans had a chance to take an order or take a picture of the guys at work behind the counter. They also signed balls, jerseys, and all Nuggets championship merch for the fans. They were excited to meet everyone before the rally and parade tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Skies are looking mostly clear this morning across the area, and we are expecting that conditions will pretty much for the most part remain that way. It could briefly turn on the mostly cloudy side in some spots for the morning dog walking conditions, although we are looking sunny here heading into this afternoon, and mostly clear skies expected as we head into the early evening hours, with current temperature readings mainly into the 50s as you head out the door this morning. 52 in Eau Claire, 58 degrees currently in La Crosse, and a temperature reading of 55 currently in Winona. A check now on your zone forecast today, calling for our high temperatures. Slightly cooler today. We had a front move through, and also the hazy conditions are limiting the temperatures from getting too warm here today as well. Highs will be reaching those upper 70s today across our southern communities, with highs around 75 in Melrose and a high of 76 in Arcadia. It'll be 73 in Osseo, and meanwhile in the Chippewa Valley today, you're looking at highs in the low to mid 70s. Some spots like to the north and Ladysmith could even reach the upper 60s only, but 74 meanwhile, however, today in Eau Claire. Your backyard forecast today calling for partly cloudy skies, a little hazy though, temperatures at 81 degrees this afternoon. I'll have a check on that full weather forecast. We'll talk more about that haze and what we can expect this weekend and also heading into next week in just a bit.
In your consumer news this morning, Willamette Valley Fruit Company is voluntarily recalling several of its frozen fruit items that contain strawberries. The company says the strawberries could be contaminated with hepatitis A. The company is recalling the following products. They include Great Value sliced strawberries and mixed fruit, Raider Farms Organic Fresh Start Smoothie Blend, and Organic Berry Trio. The products are sold at Walmart and Costco. Anyone who owns any of the recalled products should either throw them out or return them to the store for a refund. New airliners will soon have a second barrier to protect pilots besides the cockpit door. The Federal Aviation Administration says it will begin requiring manufacturers to include them in the summer of 2025. The barriers are like gates between the cockpit and passenger cabin. Crews can lock them whenever a pilot steps out during the flight, for instance, to use the restroom. Right now, airlines use methods like blocking the walkway with a beverage cart. Many pilots support the second barrier rule. A group of 17 music publishers is suing Twitter for alleged copyright infringement. The lawsuit accuses the social media company of violating copyright law on about 1,700 songs. Attorneys for the music publishers say that Twitter allowed users to post music to the platform without permission. Twitter was negotiating with the music industry to put broad licensing agreements into place, but negotiations broke down months ago. The lawsuit is asking for as much as $250 million in damages. For the first time in 15 months, the Federal Reserve has hit the pause button on interest rate increases. It comes as the latest federal data shows inflation is cooling. As Jared Hill reports, some sectors are still dealing with rising costs, and this pause may not last long.
The Federal Reserve is halting interest rate hikes. the first break after the fastest series of increases in 4 decades. Fed Chair Jerome Powell made the announcement a day after the latest Labor Department data showed inflation has cooled from its peak 9% down to 4%. But Powell warned the pause will be short-lived.
Nearly all committee participants view it as likely that some further rate increases will be appropriate this year to bring inflation down to 2% over time.
After that warning, U.S. stocks had a mixed closing on Wednesday.
The markets are already thinking about July and beyond.
While the cost of electricity, eggs and meat, and gasoline went down in May, overall, grocery prices were nearly 6% more expensive than last year. The prices of margarine, flour, and bread all up.
We've just seen huge increases in core staples.
Jenna Huntsberger owns Whisked Bakery.
We're not seeing a growth in our sales, and I do think that's because consumers are just tired of inflation and they're really being very cautious with their discretionary income.
10 consecutive rate hikes have made borrowing more expensive. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate has jumped nearly 7%.
People that have locked in these low interest rates, are they really going to want to sell their house and buy something else for close to 7%? They're going to hang on.
The next rate increase could come as soon as next month when the Fed meets again.
The Federal Reserve Chairman indicated that the pause will give the central bank more time to assess the impact of its actions so far. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. Air quality alerts continue across the Coulee region today. This is in effect until 12 p.m. That is because we're still looking at some of that ozone pollution near the surface, thanks to all that smoke and haze. So if you fall into the category of unhealthy, sensitive groups, limit your time outside and also take frequent breaks if you're going to be out there, because as you can see, that haze is still in place across the Coulee region now, and we are expecting it to remain in place really throughout the day as long as we got that northerly breeze here sending in all that smoky and hazy conditions around the area. Notice the wind direction shifting into the east, though, as we head into tonight. That should push the smoke and haze away from us, and I do expect tomorrow to be in much better shape as most of the smoke and haze will be well to our west by that point. As of right now, here's a look at City Cam 8 downtown La Crosse. You can see some of those hazy conditions outside right now. Temperature is at 58 degrees. Visibility, though, at 10 miles, so that's good. North-northwest winds at 9 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, 52 degrees is the temperature here. Light north winds at 5 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the area into the 50s. Some spots at 55 there in Winona and 55 currently in Sparta. Right now, just a few passing clouds here on the satellite picture, but that's about it. Here's that front that just moved through yesterday, sending in that northerly wind, and as a result, still dealing with some of that haze here for today. That front is going to continue to very slowly move its way down to the south. We got clear skies in the forecast throughout the day today, and also as we head into tonight, heading into the day tomorrow, high pressure is going to move in here a little bit, and that is going to create mainly dry and settled weather conditions across the area. 73 and sunny by noon today, 81 and mostly sunny at 4 o'clock, and then by 8 o'clock we're at 71 degrees. Under the influence of clear skies with our forecast highs today, mainly into the mid-70s. Some of us like La Crosse County today, hitting a high today of about 81 degrees. So I do want to show you the upper air currents because we do have some changes here on the way. We're expecting a very broad upper level high pressure system to move in as we head into next week, and that's really going to be warming up our temperatures quite a bit. In fact, you'll see on the 8-day forecast that we're going to be looking at highs rising into those upper 80s to even the low 90s as we head into this weekend, mainly so on Sunday, but especially next week. High temperatures could reach the low 90s, especially on days like Tuesday and Wednesday under mostly sunny skies, and really that's just in time for the summer season, which officially starts on Wednesday. So we'll definitely feel a lot like it there heading into the beginning of next week. Low temperatures in the 50s and low 60s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for June 15th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. The Wisconsin High School State Baseball Tournament continued on Wednesday with the Division III semifinals. The Aquinas baseball team, the overall #1 seed in D3, was looking to punch its ticket to the state title game. It's been 6 years since the Blue Golds captured a baseball state title. Division III semifinals in Appleton yesterday. Aquinas taking on Random Lake. Blue Gold starting pitcher Tanner Peterson in an absolute zone. He was feeling it all game long. Check out this line. Peterson goes 6 innings strong, 6 strikeouts, just 1 hit allowed on 88 pitches. Also had a big day at the plate. Peterson goes 3 for 4, including a 2-run homer. How about Eddie Peters? Big day for the shortstop as well. Peters goes 4 for 4 in this one. All Blue Golds in the state semifinal. They get the shutout win 10-0. And now it's off to the state title game. Aquinas in action at noon today. We'll have the highlights tonight at 6. Brewers and Twins wrapping up their 2-game set in Minneapolis. Milwaukee looking to snap its 5-game skid. This is a good start for the Crew. Brian Anderson deep to left center, and goodbye. Give him the cheesehead. It's 1-0 Brewers. Next batter, Luis Arias. How about back-to-back jacks for the Crew? He crushes one to left, and that's a solo shot. Make it 2-0 Brewers. 3rd inning now, Twins answer right back. Runners on the corners for Carlos Correa, the hero from a couple nights ago, comes up big again. This shot takes a long carom off the wall and right. Both runners are going to come in a score. Correa smelling 3. He's going to slide in safe at 3rd with a 2-run triple. We're all tied at 2. Then later in the inning, Trevor Larnach at the plate, and he's going to untie it. Larnach unloads on this one. It goes off the right field wall. Twins take the lead. They get the win 4-2 as the Brewers' losing streak continues. They've lost 6 straight games. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Researchers say they have created the world's first human synthetic model embryos. The team behind the creation consists of researchers from Caltech in the U.S. and the University of Cambridge in the U.K. They say their embryo-like structures were made from stem cells, but they are at the very earliest stages of human development. That means they do not have a beating heart or a brain. Scientists believe this kind of research could one day help them understand genetic diseases or what causes miscarriages. They say you are what you eat, and a new study found supplementing your diet with probiotics can help treat depression and anxiety. Researchers at King's College London found probiotics had positive effects for patients already using prescription antidepressants. Those researchers also say work needs to be done to investigate the relationship between microorganisms in your gut and your mood. A new report finds youth and young adults are dying from suicide and homicide at highest rates in decades. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention wrote the report. The analysis found in 2021, suicide and homicide were the 2nd and 3rd leading causes of death for children and young adults ages 10 to 24 in the U.S. The homicide rate for this age group was also the highest since 1997, while the suicide rate was the highest on record since 1968. Scientists in England say testing a patient's breath could help reveal a variety of cancers in early stages. The first clinical trials on using this method are underway in London.
British doctors are busy taking breath samples. Researchers say having patients simply blow into a bag could reveal if they have certain types of cancer, including stomach, pancreatic, and esophageal.
So we have the patient breath samples, which we've prepared.
The technology is similar to a breathalyzer. Metal tubes capture vapor and gases from a patient's breath, and high-tech machines identify links between compounds and cancer.
And that's where we actually measure these potential biomarkers for the cancers that we're interested in.
Scientists at Imperial College London say previous trials on hundreds of patients have shown 90% accuracy. Now they want to see if breath tests can catch the disease early, when patients have better outcomes.
If we wait too much and the patient has an early cancer, then it becomes late cancer by the time the patient have very definitive symptoms.
Doctors say not only can the breath test help pinpoint tumors within minutes, but it could also replace more invasive procedures like endoscopies. Researchers have been perfecting the technology for 15 years and are now recruiting more than 20,000 patients for their final breath test trials, hoping to deploy the devices in doctors' offices within a few years.
The new trials will focus on detecting early-stage cancers of the esophagus, pancreas, colon, and liver. Experts say those tumors account for more than 20% of all cancer cases in the world. The bill to increase funding for local governments and save Milwaukee from bankruptcy passed in the legislature. It now heads to Governor Evers' desk for approval, but it took a while to get there. Senate Democrats accused Assembly Republicans of trying to attach strange items to the bill. One item had called for a ban on local governments having advisory referendums on future ballots. Onalaska Senator Brad Pfaff said keeping that in the bill would hurt Wisconsin voters.
Let's not take the opportunities from our local governments away to hear from their constituents.
The amendment passed, and Pfaff, was then one of 6 Democrats to vote the bill through the Assembly. In the bill, Milwaukee leaders can implement their own city and county sales tax without a referendum to generate more revenue. But Milwaukee Senate Democrats say the bill still doesn't meet the city's needs. Senate Republicans say the bill is a sign of compromise.
It's a win for the 12th Senate District with no communities over the size of 9,000. It's a win for Madison. It's a win for Milwaukee.
Representatives Doyle, Billings, and Oldenburg all voted for the shared revenue bill in the Assembly tonight. Billings said the bill reflects the reality of divided government and applauded the bipartisan efforts to increase funding. The legislature also sent a bill to Evers' desk that would increase K through 12th grade education funding by more than $1 billion. All Senate Republicans and 2 Milwaukee Democrats passed the bill. More than $100 million of the increased funding will go to the state's private school voucher system, which allows public school students to attend private schools for free. The bill includes an increase in special education funding and commits $30 million for student mental health services. Republican lawmakers are working to increase registration fees for electric cars. A transportation funding plan passed by the legislature's Finance Committee would increase fees from $100 a year to $175 a year. Gas vehicles are $85. Democrats worry that the increase would discourage people from buying electric vehicles. Republican leaders say the increase would give the state an extra $3.3 million a year over the next 2 years. An Iowa girl with brain cancer named Maddie loves to camp, and so for her 5th birthday, she got a camper from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Stacy Horst has the inspiring story.
You see him? Yeah. There's something big coming around the corner, and it's all from Maddie Meyer. You see, it's Maddie's 5th birthday today. So all of her friends and family gathered at Cornell Elementary in Des Moines to give her the gift she truly deserves.
I don't think she has any clue what's about to happen.
Behind the line of fire trucks.
Look what Daddy's got right there.
And behind the tears, there's a travel trailer just for Maddie.
Wow, Maddie!
A year ago, doctors delivered heartbreaking news.
Our doctor did a fantastic job of getting a scan done, and it showed that she had a tumor that had ruptured and was bleeding inside her head.
Since then, medical bills became a burden for a family. They got rid of their old camper, their old house. But they came along Make-A-Wish Iowa.
We work really closely with the Camping World dealerships here in Iowa, purchased the trailer, and then we're here today. Go with Amanda.
Maddie was sad they had to get rid of their camper, so the nonprofit fulfilled her wish so she could make more memories with her family this summer.
Throughout the whole thing, her wish never changed throughout it. It was always camping.
There was even more inside, a toy chest for her Barbies and dolls, a bathroom, a shower and sink and blankets, everything you need to make camping comfortable.
You go to bed.
Mom and Dad say it's a present just knowing people care, and they'll see their new friends down the road.
Happy birthday! I mean, Maddie's defied the odds. We weren't sure if we would celebrate a 5th birthday.
There are people that we'll stay in contact with far beyond after this and everything, so we really just appreciate everything that they've done.
The family already has their first camping trip planned. They are heading to Cuddy's Des Moines Camping Club this summer. Here is Derek to tell us what to expect in our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. We are looking at mostly clear skies to work with this morning across the Coulee region. We're watching the haze, though, that's moving in, however. Current temperatures as you head outside into the 50s, 58 in La Crosse now, and 52 degrees to the north in Eau Claire. Overall, the forecast today, 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies. However, the hazy conditions will be a factor today. Northeast winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. And for tonight, 52 degrees, slightly on the cool side as well. Mostly clear, east-northeast winds light at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now that mowing forecast this morning will be 62 degrees to start. A few clouds to work with. By noon, 73 degrees. Sunshine, 5 o'clock, mostly sunny, 79 degrees. But a little bit on the hazy side, though. I'll have a check on that full weather forecast. We'll talk more about that haze coming up in just a bit.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
We got a couple of birthdays today to celebrate, and our first one is to Nicholas. He's turning 18 today, and Nicholas enjoys train driving through the rail yard, I should say, and playing Xbox.
Happy 88th birthday to Elaine. Elaine wants to celebrate her birthday with root beer floats.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Air quality alerts are in effect for most of the Coulee region until 12 p.m. today, as you can see there behind me. And that is because we are still dealing with ozone pollution near the surface, all thanks to the smoke and haze that continue to move in from the north from the Canadian wildfires to our north as well. And that is creating unhealthy conditions for those sensitive groups. So if you happen to be in those sensitive group categories, limit your time outside today. Take those frequent breaks if you have to be out there as well, because as you can see on the smoke tracker, we are still dealing with that smoke and haze across the area. We are expected to continue that northerly wind breeze today to send in even more of that smoke and haze. So you'll notice that the skies will be a little on the milky side here today. Now, as we fast forward into overnight tonight, here comes a switch here in the wind direction. High pressure from the north is going to send in that easterly breeze. That will help get rid of most of the smoke and haze here, especially tonight and also into the day tomorrow. I expect most of that smoke and haze to be well to our west by that point. So we really just have to get through today. In fact, you can see a pretty smoky and hazy sky outside from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse, and our current conditions are at 58 degrees as far as the temperature goes in La Crosse. Visibility levels not really being affected too much, currently at 10 miles, so that's good news. North-northwest winds currently at 9 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, our winds are currently out of the north at 5. 52 degrees the temperature, under mainly clear skies, a couple of passing clouds, sure, but here's a look at those current temperature readings, and you can see mainly we're into the 50s, 55 in Viroqua, same temperature in Winona. We got 52 in both Black River Falls and Sparta here this morning. And just a few passing clouds, like I mentioned here, across the Coulee region, but other than that, conditions are still relatively quiet across the area. Here's that cold front, the old one that moved through yesterday. Again, we got that northerly wind breeze behind it, sending in, unfortunately, that smoke and haze, and that front's really not expected to really move a whole lot. You'll see it here on the sky tracker showing that the front nearly stationary, just a few passing clouds behind it as we head into today. And then by tonight, conditions still very dry, high pressure to the north building in pretty broadly, giving us mainly dry and quiet weather conditions to work with tonight. And as we head into the day tomorrow, high pressure still in control. We're looking at a mostly clear sky here as we head into the day tomorrow. And that's pretty much what we have in store today, with the mostly sunny skies, temperatures into the 70s for the most part, as you can see on the forecast, highs into the 70s and low 80s. The reason why it's been so quiet is because we're under this broad area of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But I want to show you as we head into next week, we're going to be under the influence of a very strong upper ridge of high pressure here, and that is going to allow our temperatures to really heat up. In fact, I am expecting highs to reach those upper 80s to even low 90s by the early to middle part of next week, which was well above average for this time of the year. So definitely something to think about, and really just in time for the summer season, which officially starts on Wednesday of next week. Well, the Wisconsin American Legion softball is coming to West Salem. And this morning we have Myra Wick with us, and she is a coach for the new softball league. So first of all, good morning and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what can you tell us about the new softball league?
So the new softball league, it's a summer league that is a competitive high school league where the girls come out and play, and it's backed by the Wisconsin Legion. It's similar to the American Legion baseball program.
And how did the idea create to the league come about?
So the Baseball Legion has been very prominent in the area for about the last 12 years or so. And then in North Carolina, they started that a few years ago, and last year was Minnesota's first year, so Wisconsin's like, well, let's get on the boat, and here we go. So
I feel like it's a nice place, too, to kind of have that league up here in the upper Midwest, right, with the weather. So is this a summer-only league, or does it run throughout the year?
So it is a summer-only league for now. It's, like I said, very similar to the baseball league. So,
So is this a travel team, or do you play locally?
So it's kind of a combination. It is all of Wisconsin, so there's teams from all over the state of Wisconsin, up in northern Wisconsin down by Milwaukee. Right now, with it being our first year, there's around 30 different teams that are in it.
So I know like the registration is already closed, right, for next year. But for, do you have to play the softball game before you actually join, or how does that work?
So with it being a competitive sports softball league, it kind of helps if you've played softball, but also it shouldn't deter you if you want to come and try out.
Okay.
Definitely open to a lot of people, and if you end up not making a team, there's different ways that you can get involved with the Legion.
And what are the age groups?
So for this being our first year, there is it's including the 2023 seniors that just graduated this year, and so it's kind of your high school range.
Okay. And are there any like registration fees too when you have to sign up?
So for West Salem, I know we have a $100 registration fee. I think every kind of school and program is going to be a little bit different that way, but whatever they decide.
Yeah. And are those fees like reoccurring, or is it just that one time?
Every year you make the team, it does that, but it also goes towards getting registered for the regional and the state tournament if you end up making it.
Okay. And when is your next game coming up?
Our next game is next Wednesday in Viroqua, and we come home on July 6th.
Oh, okay, nice. And what kind of impact are you hoping to make on these girls?
I'm just hoping to really empower these girls and lift them up to be better people in the end of it. Softball is a way of bringing people together and learning through ups and downs, and it's a game of failure, as we like to say, so kind of working through that and just developing strong young women.
And if somebody wanted to get more information, where can they go to get that?
You can definitely get more information on wilegionsoftball.com. It is a great user-friendly website with a whole bunch of information.
Okay. Is there a phone number as well they can reach out to? If you don't know at the top
or
of
you can, or you can go to your local Wisconsin Legion and they can definitely tell you all about it.
By the way, where do you play for your home game?
So our home games are played at the West Salem Varsity Fields, which is right next to their Panther Den.
Okay. And yeah, that's a wrap here for us this morning. Thank you again for being with us. Very much appreciated. Check out the Softball League and support your local team. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
3 people were arrested this week after a multi-agency drug investigation. Stanley Holty and Julia Lloyd were arrested in Coon Valley on police charges of possession with intent to deliver methamphetamine and fentanyl. According to police, 2 pounds of meth were found in Holty's car when he was arrested for an OWI. A passenger in the car, Damian Reinsvold, was also arrested for possession of drugs. Lloyd was arrested at her home, where police found 3 more pounds of meth and $49,000 in cash. Police say Holty had been supplying drugs to people in La Crosse, Vernon, Crawford, and Monroe counties in Wisconsin, and Houston County. In Minnesota, Law enforcement found a total of more than 5 pounds of meth and more than 31 grams of fentanyl during their investigation. Both Lloyd and Holty are being held on a $500,000 cash bond in Vernon County. It's never too early for education. A new exhibit at the Children's Museum of La Crosse is about to inspire future mechanics. At the end of this week, kids can test their gearhead skills at the new Dahl Express Tire and Auto Center exhibit. Children can use pint-sized tools to fix a car on a lift. The exhibit has kid-safe wrenches, lug nuts, and oil-changing supplies. One of Dahl's leaders says he knows how important it is for kids to learn by doing.
I see how my kids learn, with the hands-on, tactile exhibits where they can really get in and use their hands and experience how to work with tools and how to work on a kid-sized car.
The exhibit opens to the public on Friday. La Crosse area hospitals are running low on blood supply. Versity Blood Centers, which supplies hospitals like Gunderson Health System, is hosting a blood drive today to stock up. Versity officials say donors are essential right now.
We are in an emergency appeal for blood where we are less than a day and a half of, less than a day's supply of blood currently. So we are hosting a blood drive to make sure we have a stable and ready blood supply for our community hospitals.
Donors can go to Gunderson's clinic in Onalaska from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Construction is complete on a roundabout in Onalaska. The city announced in a press release that the new roundabout at the intersection of East Avenue and Riders Club Road will be open to traffic beginning tomorrow, June 16th. According to the release, the roundabout has a new compact design that is semi-truck friendly. The city asks that all drivers be careful at this intersection for a couple of weeks so everyone can get used to the new traffic patterns. In honor of World Elder Abuse Awareness Day today, the Aging and Disability Resource Center of La Crosse County is hosting an Elder Abuse Awareness Walk. The walk will take place at Riverside Park at 10 in the morning. If you plan on participating in the event, organizers encourage you to wear purple to show your support against elder abuse. Registration isn't required but is encouraged. For more information, we have a link on news8000.com.
And as you head out the door this morning, temperatures are going to warming up. Our temperatures will be warming up into the 60s here in the next couple of hours, and that will continue through at least late morning, followed by the 70s this afternoon, highs into the upper 70s, low 80s late this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. A bit on the hazy side, however. Temperatures remain seasonable today. Northerly winds also in place. For the day tomorrow, 82 and mostly sunny. That haze will move out as those winds shift out of the east, and we'll be looking at highs into the upper 80s to low 90s as we head into next week under mixed sun and clouds. So, well, get ready for a pretty hot week here next week, it looks like.
And if only we could get rid of the haze.
Yeah, well, just after today, we should be okay. So
good to hear. Thanks,
yeah.
Derek. And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great morning, everyone, and thank you for watching News 8.